Things can't get any worse, or can they? The Ravens' running game, which has always been the driving force of this team, has stumbled out of the gate in ways nobody expected. Derrick Henry, the giant who usually dominates any defense, hasn't found his rhythm yet, and it's leaving the whole offense stuck. Every short run, every contained attempt adds to the doubt. Can the Ravens get back to controlling games like they used to? And what does this mean for Lamar Jackson and the rest of the team? Stick around until the end, because we're breaking down everything that's happened with the ground game and why every little detail now could make all the difference this season. Derrick Henry arrived in Baltimore, carrying the weight of being one of the most dominant running backs in the NFL, a player who can completely change the flow of a game. But looking at the start of this season, the reality is far from expectations. In the first game, Henry rushed for just 50 yards on 12 carries. That number already raises eyebrows, considering his reputation as a force of nature on the field. What makes it even more striking is that nearly half of those yards came from a single 22-yard touchdown, a play that lit up the opening drive. It shows Henry can still make explosive plays, but only sporadically. Outside of that moment, the rest of his runs were limited and inconsistent, leaving the offense relying on rare flashes of brilliance. This inconsistency has direct ripple effects on the rest of the offense. Lamar Jackson, who depends on a running game to open up space and create explosive passing opportunities, feels the impact when Henry can't keep a steady rhythm. Without a solid ground game, the Ravens' offense loses that ground-and-pound identity that dominated the league in recent years, making every drive harder to sustain. Henry's slow start raises a clear question. Will he be able to find his rhythm this season, or will the Ravens continue struggling with an inconsistent running game? This doubt not only affects team confidence, but also sets the stage for the next topic, Henry's explosiveness and why, even with big plays, he's still lacking consistency. Derrick Henry can still light up the field when he has the ball, but these bursts of energy are coming inconsistently. The Ravens boast one of the highest explosive run rates in the NFL, but it hasn't translated into steady success on the ground. In other words, Henry can break off a few big plays, but outside of those moments, he's easily contained, and the offense struggles to sustain drives. This feast or famine pattern gives defenses a tactical advantage. If you're defending against him, you know that stopping him on the first few runs puts the rest of the offense under pressure. For the Ravens, it means they can't dictate the pace of the game the way they want, leaving Lamar Jackson with less space and time to work in the passing game. On top of that, this lack of consistency has a psychological effect on the team. Players and coaches see that even the NFL's most dominant running back can't get fully going, which forces a team to constantly adjust plays, breaking the flow that has always been a hallmark of this offense. Henry's explosiveness is undeniable, but the problem is it doesn't come at the right time or with the frequency needed. This brings us directly to the next point. How the team's rhythm and overall execution are affecting Henry's performance and limiting his real impact on the game. Offensive coordinator Todd Monken has already pointed out that the team simply hasn't found a consistent rhythm in the running game. For Henry, that's a huge challenge. He's not just a running back who shines on his own. He needs the offensive line to create space and the game plan to operate in sync for him to reach his full potential. Without that flow, even a talent like Henry becomes more predictable and easier to stop. Defenses can anticipate when he's getting the ball and position themselves to limit any big play. This impact goes beyond individual stats. Every limited run eases the pressure on opposing defenses and forces the Ravens to rely more on the pass, taking away the ground-and-pound identity the team has always had. Monken also mentioned that play calling and overall execution factors effective performance. This means Henry isn't fighting this battle alone. The entire offense has to adjust. Without collective rhythm, the giant running back is limited, and drives lose the fluidity that could turn even short gains into big opportunities. The effect is clear. Henry needs the entire team to function like a well-oiled machine to shine. But if the rhythm isn't there, his explosiveness becomes sporadic, not consistent. That leads us to the next point. How the lack of support in the scheme further limits his impact.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important. because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
Another factor affecting Derrick Henry is a lack of ideal support in the offensive scheme. Some point to the absence of fullback Patrick Ricard as a reason for the struggles, but Monken believes that's only part of the story. The issue is broader. Even with players like Zaire Mitchell-Payton filling gaps, Henry still feels the effect of a line and a system that aren't fully delivering. Without precise blocking and proper positioning, runs that would normally go for big gains turn into short plays or even losses. Henry is a giant, but even he can't overpower well-positioned defenses on his own. This shows that for the Ravens, having a superstar in the backfield isn't enough. The whole offensive machine needs to run smoothly to unleash his full impact. This lack of support is directly tied to the team's rhythm. Without a solid scheme, every run becomes an isolated battle, and he often struggles to establish consistency. Henry keeps trying to break through and gain extra yards, but without a proper foundation, his talent is partially limited. All of this underscores a crucial point. For Henry to be truly Henry, the team needs to adjust execution, blocking, and strategy. And that naturally leads us to the final topic. Why Derrick Henry remains a key piece of the Ravens' success, even amid these challenges. Despite all the struggles and inconsistencies, Derrick Henry remains the heart of the Ravens' running game. He's a player who can change the game, giving the team the ability to control drives, open up space for Lamar Jackson, and set the pace in the NFL. Without him performing at a high level, the offense loses the brute force that has always defined this team. The problem is, at the start of this season, Henry still hasn't found his full rhythm. But the potential is there, and every explosive run reminds everyone what he can do when the offensive line and game plan align. Baltimore's challenge is clear. Maximize his presence on the ground and ensure every carry has a real chance of success. Controlling the game on the ground is the path to reclaiming the team's identity and putting constant pressure on opposing defenses. Henry is the key to that transformation, and the entire offense depends on a consistent performance to operate at full capacity. If Henry finds his groove, the Ravens can return to being the running machine that terrifies any defense. But if he remains limited, the offense will struggle. And that's the tension connecting all the previous points. Explosiveness, rhythm, execution, and scheme all hinge on the impact Derrick Henry can have every single game. The start of the season has made one thing clear. Even with Derrick Henry on the roster, nothing is guaranteed. The Giant hasn't found his rhythm. The running game is inconsistent. And the offense is struggling to regain the strength that has always defined this team. Every single detail, from execution to scheme, directly affects the team's ability to dominate games. But the potential is still there. Henry can return to being the unstoppable force we all know, and when that happens, Lamar Jackson and the whole offense come alive again. The big question now is, can the Ravens adjust a rhythm, consistency, and execution to turn this rough start into a real turnaround this season? The future of the running game depends on it, and every game is set to be crucial.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.